Kim and Cookie.
Ring, 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 ring. Say hello, Cookie.
Hey, Kimmy.
Hola.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You sound really good. It must have been a good weekend or...
Actually, in the terms of a friend that we got, it was probably a medium weekend. I had a medium weekend and a medium day.
No? Why?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Medium.
I broke down some really interesting things with my counselor, so I think that it's heavy, right? The work is heavy. The work
Yeah.
of like working on yourself is heavy.
Yeah.
Self-reflection and those kind of things. So it's necessary but heavy.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah.
It's not always easy to face
No.
yourself.
It's not.
For real. Yeah. No, well, I've been watching. Let me tell you something. I stay on YouTube watching all these. At first, I used to think like, okay, shorts. You know, like the idea of a really short YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sometimes 16 seconds or something like that. And I remember thinking, that is so crazy. How could you get any kind of a message across in such a short time? But now that's all I watch are shorts. And I get introduced to a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this interesting little video, and it was a girl. She had no front teeth. Listen. Oh, yeah, no front teeth. She had beautiful hair, a beautiful body. And the guy who was narrating the video, he said, now, ladies, let me tell you something. Since y'all always talking about it's about looks or this and that, he said, 99.9% of men would have sex with this woman with no front teeth. He said, not only just have sex with her, they would date her seriously. He said, you know why? Because her waist is snatched. He said, so I can go buy her some teeth. He said, I can't fix lazy and undisciplined. Ooh, that's what he said.
Oh, wow.
That's what he said. And so what I wanted to know is,
Dang.
but and here's the thing about it. I looked at old girl too, and I said, damn, she'd be a super bad bitch with some teeth. Everything else about her was hitting. Like, her hair was pretty. You could see she had a very pretty face. She just did not have like these front teeth.
Yeah.
Body is right, and he said,
Okay, but what?
and all the men in
What
the
happened to the front teeth? Well, okay.
well, I don't know anything about that. I just saw that short, and I saw him pop up and say,
lazy.
and
Because you
I
don't
saw-
just lose them, so it feels like something lazy happened.
But my thing is though, like, that's an easy fix compared to everything, and I could still see how attractive that woman was. And about almost 100% of the men in the comments were all like, she could just buy new teeth the way y'all buy hair. Like, they was talking shit.
But you can snatch your waist, right? You can.
Who can? Who? Don't that shit ain't.
A doctor for about $3,000.
You know what's so funny? Remember, Kevin Samuels used to always be like, I don't care if your waist is small. I need your measurements for real, because a lot of people gauge themselves based on their waist. But you could have, proportionally, your waist can be small and everything else, and you still be considered big.
Yeah.
But some people think that that's just like, that's okay. Like, you have free range to do that.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
If
like,
your waist is
just like you
small.
can buy teeth, you can buy a better body.
My thing is, I just don't think obesity is easily fixed.
Well, obesity, no, because to me, obesity is a mindset. At some point, I think they were calling it like a borderline like disorder, or right, because like there's a difference between eating and overeating, right? And
Yeah.
and obesity is
Yeah.
teetering on that like overeating,
Yeah.
overindulging type of thing.
And that's why,
so
and I do think, I'm like, that is something that is hard to fix. Like,
it's a mindset
to
for
just,
sure.
yeah, to just like, okay, you don't have like you have to change a lot of different things about yourself.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like how, and I got a friend who's that way. He's a guy friend. I use friend loosely actually because he's not my friend. So, I look at him like in a way that he could be obese because he has these tendencies where he'll overeat or overdrink or overdo, right? And I looked at it as undisciplined.
Yeah.
Like, even in my own stuff, I'm like, oh, you have no discipline. You can't stop. You have no gauge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
how a man can say that about a woman who is overeating because it's like, oh, you lack discipline.
Yep.
And that's,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what they were kind of saying. They were like, well, hey, I mean, she's got a lot going on. We can just slap her some implants, because they do these implants in like same day now, but they're very expensive. My thing is this:
With the teeth one, because my friend got new
implants
teeth.
are very
Oh.
expensive.
Breast implants?
No, dental implants. Like,
Yeah.
for you to die with these teeth, like, because they have to drill into your bone, like that. Like, that's serious. Like the ones that are like permanent that you can't take out. They're
So not veneers.
So not veneers. Veneers means you already had a tooth and they might have shaved it down and then put that over it. I'm talking about like an actual implant where you have no teeth. Like,
Oh, wait, they shave down your teeth with veneers?
yeah.
So that means you kind of fucked up under there.
Otherwise, you're going to have some big ass teeth. You ever seen them people with them big ass teeth? Probably because they didn't want none of their
Like
shit
Eddie
shaped
Murphy?
down. But I also like, he took got big teeth. I also
like a
feel like,
horse
though, you can't just like pop veneers on big teeth because then just teeth is going to look real big.
But you just going to
So
shave my real teeth down? And the
No,
point of this for
that's
me to
not
have a real mouth?
That's not safe either. But a lot of people, you didn't hear about people was going to these different countries and they was shaving down their good, healthy teeth because they wanted to have these veneers. And every dentist was like, this is really not recommended. The best thing you can have are your natural teeth. And you want to shave down healthy teeth for no reason just
Right.
to put a
It's a
fucking
nerve
pretty
veneer.
veneer over it. Well, they would leave just enough. No, they didn't get that deep, but they would affect the overall appearance of the tooth. So people would take the veneers off or the caps and have these little shark teeth. Because they never expected to wear their own teeth. So they're just like, oh, I'm going to get pretty
Dude, just
veneers.
brush your teeth.
Isn't
the
that
veneers aren't that
stupid?
pretty. Just brush your teeth.
Well, sometimes, now I'm not going to lie though. I've seen some people go to a very, very beautiful smile with veneers because maybe their teeth were spaced out but they're straight, but they just pop veneers on them to clear the space. Like, I get why they do it.
Maybe
but
I'm blessed.
I wouldn't shave my teeth down though.
You can't touch my teeth, bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't shave my teeth down.
That's like me cutting my hair for a sew-in.
But at the same time, I don't know what it's like to have like shark teeth. Some people have very small teeth and they want their teeth to look a normal size, I guess, if that makes sense.
I guess, but I kind of just
No.
feel like also your teeth grow like proportionally to how they're supposed to if you brush them and take care of them.
And
That's my assumption.
Well,
but-
I have seen niggas with big teeth that I'm like, damn, he could have had a set of smaller teeth.
So he can shave them all down. But I'm just like,
The
yo,
gum.
I'm just going to let you shave my tooth down that I know don't grow back. Like, I only grew 2 sets of these hoes.
You can't forget.
And like,
You can't like shave down them big ass teeth.
Ugh.
You ever seen the people where they got like a lot of space? It's like they need their gums to come down, like, but they don't. Yeah, but he made it work for Eddie Murphy because he a comedian. The only time you can have that is if you are a comedian.
well, you wasn't a comedian first. Them teeth were first. What came first? The chicken or
I
the egg?
think he
The
came
chicken.
out making jokes. I don't know. Charlie Murphy.
I bet.
Eddie Murphy.
Charlie. Oh, I met Charlie. Rest in peace.
Oh, rest in peace. I love him. Now he funny to me for
I
real
did.
too.
I met Charlie. I met Charlie Murphy and
Yeah.
some other. Yeah.
No, that's
In
because you was in
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Because you always see
In
black celebrities in
Atlanta,
Atlanta. Okay.
yeah.
Oh my God. No. Okay. So I had to tell you about this. I was also online and I saw that they had new developments in the Shanquella Robinson case.
Ah.
I know that.
I
it's
saw that
crazy,
too.
Right? Where she I guess they're showing now they know that her neck was broken.
Yeah.
Spinal cord injury.
She got contusions to her head and stuff.
Yes. And I saw that they said that after everything that happened, some of the workers were stating that they now know they were being manipulated
Yeah.
when they were being spoken to by her quote unquote friends.
Yeah. One
about
worker
the
said it
situation.
seemed like tension and that she seemed out of place.
But you know what I say to myself? I'm like, every single one of y'all was involved, and I am so shocked as to why we still ain't really heard.
Yeah. This.
How
look,
are y'all? This many black people having a secret?
I'm like, yo, they better than the Crips.
Somebody would have snitched by now.
What on the first 48?
Y'all all still acting like it was justified. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
For a hot 5.
what was y'all all up in there doing?
Yo, I'm just. It almost seems when I was listening to the
fuck?
story, it seems so. I just don't want to use the word, but demonic. That how like when they described the
I don't know.
air of the people and her friends and how off she was, it's like,
fucking
did y'all
friends.
bring this girl here to mess her up like this? Like it seems so.
I know.
I don't know. Just I can't get past it. So it's just like
Crazy.
to take someone out the country to be that way. And I guess that's why I think I am blessed that I've had friends that I've had for a long time. So we
You
know how
are.
to travel together.
You
We
are.
know, because I just can't see myself. Well, I guess I can, right? Our Greece trip was like that. I was going to say I can't
Yep.
see myself being out the country with people who I don't really know like that and feeling like I need to be on alert for myself. But I did at some point when we were in Greece
Yeah.
feel like that. I really started to question like, because I was kind of new.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamics that was going around, I really started to question like,
And they don't know what we're talking about. We went on a
Yeah.
trip, and we went on a trip to Greece.
mm-hmm.
Kimmy and me and some of our other, friends, but other people were,
Yeah.
were right.
I say associates,
And-
yeah.
And Kimmy had to share a room with one of the newer friends. It was one of the
Yeah,
newer
we had just met. We
one
had
of the
just met.
newer additions to the group. She had to share a room, and shit was real bad.
Yeah.
Shit was real bad.
Yes.
And so,
It's different, I guess, when you go somewhere and you're learning someone because,
yeah.
like, there's just certain dynamics of, like, getting together and
Yeah.
knowing how you guys work as far as like even with planning a trip. Like there's somebody who's a planner, there's somebody who's organized, there's somebody who organizes the money. There's all these dynamics, and I think I had just got with one of our newer friends and just realized that this girl ain't my friend.
No, and what was funny is she was a newer friend to me too. But to not get too convoluted about it, my other friend, our other good friend, had already called it out. She told me, she said, I ain't gonna be hanging out with her too much. She already saw it.
Yeah.
And so I guess everybody has to learn for themselves. It was just
But I guess it was
But you're
interesting
right.
because in this young girl,
in Shanquella's situation.
she didn't know any of them. So to be all together and not know them like that, and to be the odd man out, that's
So why were they all saying front? But see, here's my thing too, though. Like, would you ever take a trip out of the country with a bunch of motherfuckers you didn't know?
we just did.
No, it wasn't a bunch of motherfuckers I didn't know. We had some core people we knew,
Yeah.
and then it was kind of like a surrounding. But
I think no is relative though, right? I felt like, because I can say I left that trip and I called my friends and I was like, this is why I don't travel without y'all. I left feeling like that. So I would say no is relative because like even the scale of all of us knowing each other, I had only known everybody for 6 months except maybe our one friend who
Yeah.
I'd known for 8.
exactly.
You know, we had never been in a situation like that. So I think that was just like, that's kind of interesting. And like, I don't know. I think it was very much so representation of how that could happen, how that happened with
Right.
a young girl. So.
Yeah. No, but okay, but you know what? So one of my old friends, she used to join these little single travel groups, but she was into that real freaky sex shit. And they would go to these like Jamaican adult resorts, and they would go like butt naked bubble parties and stuff like that. So she was really open to that type of shit. So that's so when I heard about Shanquella Robinson being out of the, like, I was like, did she just meet this travel group? Because they just did
You
not
travel differently.
Yeah.
But because when you do that though, there's certain things, elements of this that let me know she thought they were her friends. Like
Yeah.
she didn't have her own room.
Yeah.
When you travel like that, you kind of are in your. I'm assuming, right? Because I ain't been on
Yeah.
one of those trips, but I'm assuming you would get your own space and
Yeah.
I don't know, you would move differently. But I like that her parents are getting. So they got President Biden involved, and so now they're trying to get him to like either have the U.S. take over the case or force those people to be extradited back to Mexico.
Yeah, because nothing has happened still
Yeah.
to them.
It's pretty ridiculous.
And I think one of the girls is selling her story. So I don't know, but yeah, that was really, really sad. Like I said, we didn't know that her neck was broken before, huh?
No,
We didn't
I don't
know
think
that.
they said
It
that.
wasn't. We didn't know it was that serious. Yeah, that was really, really sad. But okay. On a lighter note, okay, Jay Morant.
Right. So yeah. So
Y'all
now,
know he came here. He was just at Shotgun Willie.
We talked about him last
He
week.
blew $50,000.
Talked about it last week.
Come on, I want to see. Now that's the real story. The real tea is, who is this bitch at Shotgun Willie's that warranted that much motherfucking money?
No, but then,
because we're not even a stripper state.
right,
This is not even our shit like that.
right. So now
For-
he's lost some endorsements,
Yeah.
and it came out that like he's got suspended. He lost some endorsements, and he has came out like that he has an alcohol problem, and he's losing all these like brand endorsements. And so the biggest question, I was talking to somebody, and I thought it was a really interesting conversation about like how nowadays you always have to keep your mindset around like your brand.
Yes, but you know what? As a 23-year-old man, you gonna fuck that up a bunch of times.
No, you can't. You can't though.
You can't.
Not
Why?
now. You used to.
No.
When we
listen.
were 23, you can't. It's
No,
so on
I'm not-
display.
You're saying that you can't, but you do, because I'm still a young person at the end of the day, and I'm gonna fuck up. So I'm 23 years old. I got all this fucking money, right? 23 years old. I have all this money. I am like you telling me, and yeah, we did
No.
just lose to the Nuggets, but goddamn it, I want to see some pussy popping. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately.
So then I go to Shotgun Willie's, right? And they see who I am. They're like, oh, okay, this motherfucker up in here. Boom, he famous. Okay, and that's bringing a lot of publicity to the club. It's good. Boom. So he blow 50. You couldn't even see the bottom of that fucking floor with so much money.
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, now because there are camera phones, you can't mess up in the same
But
way.
no, that's
you
not.
can't.
He didn't fuck up there. It was
he
him.
did.
He went live
On your
and
phone.
showed a gun.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Unfortunately,
that's-
no, you can't
That's
mess
the
your
only
brand
reason.
up.
No, my thing is, you still can fuck up, but this is what happens when you do it. And how
He could lose his endorsements for life.
You're right, but my thing is, how smart of it though was it to say, "Hey, I got an alcohol problem," because y'all will have pity on me for being like an alcoholic.
No, them
But you
endorsements
won't
didn't come
care.
back.
No, they're not. But it looks better to say I have a problem than to just make it seem like, oh, I'm just an
it may
irresponsible.
look better, but it's still like
But I have a drug
it
problem.
may
or
look better.
an
But what I
alcohol
will
problem.
say though is, and what's unfortunate, and I used to talk to my students about this, is that no, unfortunately now because these kids have phones, they have memorialized their mess ups.
No, I agree.
We used to be able to mess up and like nobody could really record it. You can able to forget it. Your stuff gets so stuck online that you can't mess up anymore. It's memorialized on. So you got to keep your eye on your brand all the time.
The thing is, though, you have to be able. My thing is, like, I get it. Like, I understand the whole concept. Like, hey, you know what? It's a lot harder for you. So as a black man, you need to make sure you do X, Y, Z.
I'm not saying because he's black. I'm just saying period.
I say also too, because you're a young black male too. I actually do think that you actually need to act even more so accordingly, as opposed to just being an athlete. Right?
Well, I just think when I'm talking about the brand period, I'm thinking like Tim Tebow, right? He put himself in his pigeonhole. It's hard for him to
Tim Tebow now.
Exactly. Like, but you put yourself, you brand yourself one way, and then you're not able to expand. You put yourself, and not even in a negative way, right? Tim Tebow had this brand of being like Christian and all these things, but like that was his brand, so it was hard for him to pivot into anything else.
Yeah.
Right. It was hard in the same way that I feel like Chris Brown can't get past the Rihanna thing. Like, it is unfortunate now because we have social media, because we have things online. You have to keep an eye on your brand, and when you don't, or if you're not mindful of what your brand is and it makes itself, you will get pigeonholed. You can't come out of it.
No, and I understand that. Like, I do feel like you have to be responsible, but here's the deal: or you cannot. You can end up making a mistake like he did, and then now you're dealing with the consequences, which I do think a lot of them are going to have to deal with, just because these are still young men, or whoever these people are. They're still young people who are going to make like mistakes. It's just, and you're doing it with a lot more resources. So my thing is, so you're doing it with a lot more fucking resources. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself, I said, God damn, this motherfucker blew 50,000 in motherfucking shotgun willies, and that's nothing. That was like $20 to that motherfucker.
Even past that, I think about people like Chloe. I think about people like Chloe Bailey, whose brand now they wonder if she's able to pivot into anything else because she's like, her brand is so sexy, or how strategic Beyonce's brand has been since from the beginning. Like,
hers is good,
very intentional
her
from the beginning.
Is airtight.
So it's just like, I mean, unfortunately, that's why I saw kids when I was in middle school have PR people, brand reps.
It
like,
makes sense.
Some of our like big sports stars or whatever already had like brand people in middle school.
You know what's so funny about the way Beyonce's brand has to be, though? Because get this is the funny fucking part about marrying a rapper, right? As a rapper, I still got to be looked at as that nigga who like, I'm hard and I'm not really like, how does a rapper transition to a husband and like a good father? So somehow Jay-Z had to change like that perspective and be like, I have to now show these little wild, ignorant motherfuckers how hip hop looks when it gets older. Because they don't understand this, because they're like, why are you talking all that shit right now when you was doing all this shit that we doing?
But I think that's growth. Though. That's what's interesting about the rap game is most rappers we see stay in the rap game who evolve, their rap transitions too, right? It like they start rapping about like this and that and the drugs and the hoes and all that, and then as they get as they grow, right, and as they mature, their rapping matures.
Absolutely.
And you're able to stick with them. And that's what's kind of cool about the evolution of rap.
Can they still stay? But you know what? I feel like I want it to evolve nicely, because I also feel like a lot of people don't have respect for some of the like OGs or whatever, because they don't yet see how that fits into the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
And they're on one level of it. And we have to like kind of guide them through this ignorant period. So do we need to, I like, how do we show them that? How do we show them that this thing this is the hard thing about being an adult, right? And dealing with children is, because I was a child, I understand your recklessness, but I have to have enough patience to deal with you in your recklessness, that you make it out of this recklessness into a good, healthy adulthood. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think that people like Jay Morant or whatever is like, how do we make sure that they make it out? Like, we know y'all gonna wild out, because it's the same thing. I had a friend, her dude, she was from Philippines. She was with this white boy. He had a whole alcohol problem, but his parents had so much money and was able to send him through. This motherfucker had DUI on top of DUI on top of DUI. Your average person don't make it out of that, because you know why? You don't have the luxury, like you said. So yeah, I know you're still young, you're gonna make mistakes, but sadly you don't have the luxury to make these great big mistakes and still have a good life afterwards. Yeah. But they had enough money to see him through. He went to like a Betty Ford motherfucking center and shit. So now he doesn't touch alcohol. He's the most straight and narrow person you've ever seen, but somebody got him through that. Yeah. And so I wonder, like, can we get our young people have young hoods and childhoods
But
too?
I think so. I think that's what's so important about like this and our voices, and like that's why I think I get so excited about our podcast, is because like, yeah, it's not just like two girls who don't agree, but I think it's two girls with backgrounds who may be different, but with the ability to reach a whole bunch of different women. Because I know when I was growing up, I didn't see girls who were sporty, who were tall.
Yep.
You know, you were either, everybody saw me and I was tall, so it was like, you
Yep.
should be a model, you should be a model, you should be a model.
Yeah.
And so I did modeling. I modeled for JCP and I did all these modeling, but it's like, but some of this just isn't me. I'm not prissy and I'm kind of sporty and I like to go play basketball and go do these things. And so, and I didn't see girls who were like me, who were still girls, who still like boys,
and you wanted to be able
who were
to
still
have that
sexy,
range.
who, you know, who still had those things. And so that's what I think is so important. Like, our brand and us keeping our mind in our brand, or just even our podcast period, because I'm not just a woman, but I'm a non-traditional, you know, Black woman who's into sports, who's into science, who also is attractive and like dudes, you know what I'm saying? And so like, and that's a brand in itself, or that's a market for somebody in itself, because I didn't have it.
And you know what's so funny, and that's what I want. I feel like the true like we're gonna see progress when I'm allowed to be, when I just be allowed to be. That's people. Everybody's so concerned about. I want to be allowed to be a woman, be Black. No, I just want to be allowed to be whatever the fuck that might look like. I want to be able to be that. I don't want to have to be this or be that. I want to be able to be, and then I fill in my own motherfucking blank.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? And it just so happens when you look at me, I do look like I belong to this group and that group. You know, whatever, female, Black, male, white, whatever. But I just want to be allowed to be whatever the fuck I want to be.
Yeah.
As whatever the fuck you think you see I am. You understand what I'm saying?
That's what's cool too, because and I think our voices are so important and so intentional. I find it's very interesting because like I think I juxtapose it with like Angela Yee, who I feels like right now she's like trying to come out and say that she's
from the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee. Yeah, okay.
Angela Yee, and who's like, I think now she wants to be this ambassador and this champion for women, but you sat on this, in your opinion or in your voice, I don't even know if this is true, but you sat on this Breakfast Club podcast and I guess silenced yourself or went with what you were making seem like they made you go with. But it's like the most important thing you have as a person, not even woman, not even Black, as a person, is your voice and your ability to use it and your ability to be and speak your truth.
Yeah.
And I think now more than ever, right, you got QAnon people believing that numbers and shit are doing shit, or you got, you know, all this kind of shit. So it's just like, all you got to do is speak, and people who believe you will fall in line. And you're telling me you sat on this podcast for how many years and didn't say shit? I think that's why people are having such a toxic reaction to her saying that, because it's just like, why?
Yeah, she's having it. So Angela Yee is coming and saying that she feels like there was no support to.
Yeah, she was saying I was one of the only woman. I was only one in the room. I feel like I was silenced.
When is that an issue? It's like no, I get it. Some people, you know, it's hard being the only woman or being the only Black person, and it's like, yeah, but also, what's the flip side of that? You're the only woman, bitch. That means that you're the main feminine voice of this entity here. And that's actually, if you know what the fuck you doing, a really big deal. Because here you have Envy, you have Charlemagne. Charlemagne has established who he is. We know Envy. This motherfucker just sit there with the headphones on and he don't say much. Bitch, you had a whole fucking platform to really push your ideas to the forefront. What we're finding out though is you're boring. Is what it was. Because Angela Yee to me, yeah, she's a woman. That's all. I'm a woman here. We roaring. That's great. You on there. She's so goddamn boring.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
It is that. And okay, so and you saw what like
she
people,
wasn't entertaining.
People are having like cancerous reactions to it though too. Like, did you see that? I think Erica Mena was like, no, bitch, you sat there and let me be berated by those two men. So you weren't like silenced.
For women.
You weren't for women. Like, or a couple of women are coming out saying like, nah, fuck that. Like, this is a call a spade a spade.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. Part of me feels like that when they picked her for the show, they knew what they were doing. They knew they didn't want. I think Charlemagne knew he was gonna be the only woman on that show, and that he wanted other voices that would keep him. That would keep him pretty much as the main, the ringleader.
I don't think that. I actually think that Charlemagne likes to be questioned. Listening to him now on the Breakfast Club with like Nyla and all that kind of stuff, I think that he likes to be questioned. I think that Angela Yee chose to be silent.
No. I don't deny he has to be questioned. But what I will say is he realized quickly his role in that group, and he is the controversial one who is going to make you have to answer a harder question, which I do think is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're, she's not doing it.
But yeah, like, so she's talking about like representation and that kind of stuff, and it's like, I don't know that she's just the voice of representation for Angela Lee, but I don't think that I thought that she was going to be in the first place. But for her to come speak out now and try to use this new platform as like, oh, I'm a voice for women. Like, girl, you never been.
You think she's been disgruntled this whole time?
No, she didn't seem disgruntled.
She was super. I just didn't relate to her. So she always sounds like she's complaining to me. Period.
It does.
Yeah.
But somebody said this to me today at work. You know what can't get a couch to move? And I was like, what? And they were like, feminism.
No, but you know what I feel like? It's good for her to jump on that bandwagon though.
But she couldn't have got in that platform she did without like the males championed that, right? Like 2 black males championed this podcast and she was able to be on it, right? And so we can't discredit that. Sometimes I think the problem with being so feminine mindset or so only woman mindset is not to think that this was championed by someone before us first. We do have to give some kind of homage to that. Mm-hmm. Right, so you got on this platform and it may have been uncomfortable, but at least you got to be in a space that was uncomfortable instead of not be there at all.
Yeah,
because you couldn't have it.
I agree.
Right, and so there's there's some mindfulness to that too.
No, I agree, and I think that I wonder, she hasn't been very successful though. I don't think.
No, she's boring
since she left the Breakfast Club. So that could also be why she's unhappy, because I don't think her shit is doing too good. But Charlamagne is doing really well.
He is.
Yeah, he's doing really well. Okay, now you got to talk about. You was telling me about this new law that has been passed in Florida. Well, it's not funny though.
It's not, but I don't know enough about it. It's about representation or something. I want to dive into that next week because I want to know about it. But while we're talking about like representation in the media.
Go ahead.
While we're talking about representation in media and everything else. Okay, so Fox News is getting sued.
Who's suing Fox News?
So Fox News is getting sued by Dominion. They made the voting machines. And allegedly,
first of all, nobody gonna sue Tucker Carlson because that's my motherfucking guy. I like
Tucker
him.
Carlson. But yeah.
So you can sue everybody, and I like even Hannity because he be talking shit. Nothing. I don't like. You know what I like? I like when white people talk shit. I want you to stand by it. And I feel like Tucker Carlson and motherfucking Sean Hannity.
Say it with your chest.
They don't be scared of y'all.
They don't be running up on us either like that either. They ain't an Olive Garden.
But they be getting ran up on though.
They ain't an Olive Garden. It was what was that? A black man in Olive Garden, like. But either way, so Fox News is getting sued because the voting machine, Dominion, is like, hey, you guys put out essentially all this quote unquote fake news saying that our voting machines were tampered with, our voting machines were caused suspicion, and it created this like fear around the voting machines and about essentially our democracy, right? Mm-hmm. And it was not true. And not only was it not true, in doing digging, they have found out that like Fox News knew it wasn't true.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because there's so many. I feel like, and maybe this is just a farce that I had when I was a kid, but I feel like there used to be a lot of pride and regulation about what gets reported as news. And now it feels like everything right now seems as news. Everybody can get on a podcast and call it news. Our news stations now are classified as entertainment. And so there's no parameters around what is the news anymore.
I agree. But I think all the news stations do that because CNN gets on my nerves. I'm not even going to lie. I can't stand Don Lemon. He get on my nerves. I feel like they all this. I don't think Fox is the only station that does this.
No, I'm not saying that they are, but I'm just saying like, where are the regulations?
But my thing is, I do wonder though if we can have a body that regulates and then trust them motherfuckers. That's my issue.
That's fair.
Like I don't trust none of you
FDA.
motherfuckers. So I guess so if we put you in charge to regulate, well, who the fuck are you? I don't fucking know. So my thing is this: if you want to regulate something, I just don't know. I don't know if I trust you enough to be the regulating body over me.
That's
so I think
true.
the only way we can combat all you motherfuckers putting out crazy information is I guess I'm gonna have to put out my own information.
But what are the rules around it? Like they don't have to fact check. Like we don't have no accountability standards. We at least have rules over like our meat, even if they're like very minimal and basic. Like there's no accountability.
I know,
for
but
what's
we can't treat information like meat though. But yeah, you're right. Like I just think like I totally understand like. But you know why I didn't agree with that fact-checking shit is because here's my only issue with comparing like meat to information. It's like, yeah, okay, you got meat, but then you got information. And here's my thing. The tighter regulations you put on information, you almost make it impossible for me to speak to where What if I just want to talk to you before I think there's going to be a problem, but because there wasn't a problem, I wasn't supposed to say nothing? I think we have to be very careful with the limitations we put on information, because information is such a information is like I'm trying to, I don't know. That just seems so like.
I get what you're describing. You're describing Fahrenheit 451. So I do agree that we can't say what cannot be told. But I think that there should be accountability if something is called news. I do love,
that's different.
I love that we have podcasts. I love that we have you can have all these things where people are like.
And you and Tyler talked about that. Remember Tyler told you, he said, if you look closely, Fox News says that in order to get away with what it's doing or the information it's giving out, it's stating that it's an entertainment channel.
And I'm wondering, but the news is still in the name, right? Fox News, and I feel like
I don't know if it is. I think it's just
it might
Fox.
just be Fox. It might just be Fox now.
Now
but
CNN is cable news network.
It is, but either way, right? These things are the assumption of news because they used to be, and I just feel like at some point we do still need news. We need something that's giving hardcore facts, and we learned earlier, right? We learned that there was this whole thing that happened with Rupert Murdoch and all these things about how you don't have to have equal reporting anymore. And I do wish that we had to have news and they had to at least equally report, and then we can all have our opinions from it. And I'm okay with us saying things. I'm okay with a podcast saying that Dominion has suspicion of voter regulations. I do think it's
you should be able to say that
if Fox News says it without without knowing that that suspicion is based in nothing.
Well, my thing is
right? I think it should be different.
Well, then that means too. Then it's the same thing when I watch a toothpaste commercial and they have a person in a white coat sitting there talking about some 9 out of 10 dentists agree that Colgate is the best, blah blah whatever. It's like there's an assumption that person be an actor. There's an assumption, though, that
they're a doctor.
Yeah, that they're a dentist.
I think that's wrong, too.
Yeah, and so the thing is, if you're stating now, so now you're stating that, well, I don't want you to be able to say this, right? Because you're saying it under this even though nobody tells you can't wear a white coat in a commercial. Or
but you can't impersonate a police officer,
But you can sit in on a movie set with little plaques on the back, and people assume that you're a doctor or you're.
I agree. I think all that shit is kind of farce. The one thing that you can't do is impersonate a police officer, but everything else is not regulated about impersonation. And I think that we should just be. I think there should be a little bit more rules around it. I'm not saying that we should censorship. I don't believe in censorship in that way, right? But I do believe in holding accountability for certain. It's just everybody can't get a .org or a .edu.
No, for sure.
And but some niggas is .com, and we got Wikipedia,
and we know .com.
Right?
We're like, hey, watch them.
And so I'm thinking that Fox News and them should be the .orgs or whatever, and certain things should be held like EDUs, and then certain things should be Wikipedia. But I think we should be able to easily decipher that, because now the common person can't, and our quote-unquote news entertainment segments aren't held to paint a full story. So that's how we have things.
That's all of them. Yeah.
About niggas storming the Capitol, or some other random shit that's happened on the other side, because just because people don't have enough facts.
Well, what's funny too is everybody thinks that I kind of feel like this is. I don't think this is a unique situation. I think it's
unique. I think it's everybody. I think it's Fox,
everybody
does CNN. I think everybody's on a slant.
And every dictator, when you look at, there's a woman now who's just went viral. She survived. She escaped North Korea. And I've sent some of her videos. I cannot remember her name, but we'll have to talk about her next podcast more in depth. But there is a woman who survived North Korea, and she talks about how she had to learn certain concepts because as a North Korean, Kim Jong-un only allowed certain things to be taught, certain things to be seen on the news. And so she said, I used to think that me not understanding you Americans was because my English wasn't so good. She said, now I know it's because I didn't have concepts for what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
She said the news was heavily oh my God.
The first thing you do when you want to control the people is to control their education.
And that's
to control their information. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be slanted. It should be more well-rounded.
No, and that's fine. But that's why I think the what sometimes the opposite of what do you want to call that, right? Because she lives under a totalitarian dictatorship period. Sometimes freedom doesn't always look so pretty. Sometimes I think because you are trying to preserve something that at the same time make sure people are respected and feel safe. But it's this delicate thing that it's sometimes I feel like when they want to put these when they want to put these regulations on them, that they inadvertently stop trying in the name of being good people or make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, I agree. If
That's
the people,
my
I agree with that.
concern.
With the people aren't involved, but the opposite of that is when you got like big entities like Facebook purposely influencing an election because of shit that they're pushing in front of certain people because of targeting, right? So I do like. So I'm like,
I do agree with that.
I agree,
but
that,
I don't think it worked in my favor.
Yeah, I didn't, but like I agree.
Yeah.
But I agree that like so that's I'm like I agree with you. Regulations are only as good as the people who are in the room.
Yeah.
So I do think they need to be made by the people, not for the people, but by the people, which is different. But
yeah,
I do like I do question the fact that like CNN does it too, and I hate when they do
All
it.
the
And I'm
time.
like, that's not the full side.
And
There's-
also,
I'm like, that's not everything,
No,
and
it's
you're not
not
even
everything.
held accountable to tell everything. And it's like, at some point though, especially like me as a teacher, I am scrutinized so much. They come into my classroom once a quarter to look at how I'm teaching, look at what I'm saying. My curriculum is scrutinized. They scrutinize for a reason because I'm teaching the youth and I'm shaping minds. I kind of feel like that same standard should be of our just media.
yeah,
And media is actually, I read something. Media is actually such a broad term that
It
we're
is.
all media.
That's why I guess it's
We're
like,
all media. So I'm just saying maybe
Yeah.
of not of our media, but of our strictly news that's on TV
yeah, I don't know because the thing is, right?
between the hours of 8 and 5.
That's
I'm
why
just
I
kidding,
don't
but-
know if I want them to be regulated because the entertainment industry has so much influence over the masses and they can just do whatever the fuck they want to do. And that's not fair. So I understand that you're giving news so
You
much.
have more choice though. You have more choice to go see Godzilla or not.
No, but yeah, you have more choice, but they take over the entertainment runs everything, which is why politicians are so heavily like intertwined with it because they understand the impact. The fact that fucking Cardi B has sat down with the president before fucking who the fuck can we say anybody pretty much. The fact that Cardi B has sat down with the president lets you know that entertainment has a huge impact on our decision making, which is very sad, but it's what it is, right? And the thing is, they just have free reign. They do whatever the fuck they want to do. And it's just entertainment, but your influence is that big. So should it be all like, because if you have that much influence, shouldn't you be deemed as maybe like we have to monitor you a bit?
But I think it runs around to what we're talking about with our brand though, because they are, right?
What do you mean?
It circles back to branding, right? Like because like they are. You talk about Cardi B. Cardi B she's got some PR person who has in mind all her endorsements that affects the shit that she says and that comes out her mouth, right? Like, so they are being controlled by something. Each of them are controlled
what I
by
mean is this.
their endorsements and their brand. And so I agree with you.
She's
There
not-
shouldn't be regulations on everybody, but everybody is being controlled by some.
No, they're not. Cardi B can Cardi B can get y'all all to follow her and vote for the nigga that she's told you to vote for. And when that shit was a bad idea and it goes wrong, Cardi B will not have any consequences to face. You know why? Because she
That's
can
not
say
true anymore.
whatever she wants to say. She can say whatever she wants to say and endorse whomever she wants to endorse, and nobody's gonna come back and look at her and be like, "Wow, she's just Cardi B." But when you are, but anybody else, we have to put a lot of regulation on. You know how many people follow her?
But that's not what I'm saying though. So for one, Cardi B is, and influencers now are actually held to a standard. Like they actually now can be held accountable for shit that they say that's works or that does this, that does
What?
that.
How?
There's a new law, like they can be sued, or there's like some new regulations that happen over influencers because people were saying like, hey, this grew my hair and folks were buying it and it didn't. Like, so there's actually like some lawsuits and there's some regulations now around being an influence and what you have to like say that something paid you, right? That's why you see that more
you mean
now.
the ad thing,
Or
ad.
just period.
It has to say ad.
Just endorsements or influences, period.
'Cause I
You
know-
have to. There's a change in that regulation now for sure. You have to like speak to like that. This is paid. This is
Yeah.
promoted. This is not fake. This is or this is fake. I got money for this. This might not be real. This is right. So
Yeah.
there's a regulation around that. And two, Cardi B may not be held accountable for who she says endorse, but she is accountable to her brand. Right, because that's why
And
that's
all
what's
that-
happened. The opposite is happening to Kanye West right now, right? Like everybody's so upset with him when he was endorsing Trump. Then everybody got so upset with him when he was saying all this crazy stuff so he can get his he wanted to get dropped by Adidas essentially, right? He intentionally said all this crazy stuff to get dropped by Adidas so he can get his branding stuff back for his shoes. So like the opposite is happening to Kanye West. So people do hold you accountable for who you endorse or and so the people to me hold celebrities more accountable than we do our news.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why we're not asking them to be more honest or to be more transparent or to have more backing or to do more research, or because we're not. We don't hold them to the same accountability that right now
But
that we hold
I
our
do,
celebrities
I
to.
do want people to be able to report things even in its infancy without. I don't necessarily want. I want to know all kinds of things as they're happening. So I don't know how much regulation I want to be on you. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Everyday people, yes. Our news
That's a
media.
segment.
Our news media.
I hate Rick.
Everybody. But our news media, yes. But okay.
No, but okay, we got. Hey,
Let
you
me
want to
tell
talk
you
about Earth?
Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Can you beam me up? I'm out on the street.
So Earth is ghetto because I recently read
What did you
that
read?
Mexico, because of global warming,
No, fuck.
the tequila plant is drying up, like the actual plant that makes tequila. So now we may not be able to get Casamigos anymore, and that's incredibly ghetto.
But why-
I need tequila in my life.
me tell you-
Vodka is still safe, but for some reason tequila is out here on the chopping block because of global warming, because y'all don't want to recycle, and I'm
But
just
see,
really upset about
you
it.
have no faith. I have faith in Mexicans that they're gonna find something else to get us equally or better.
No, I need
Leave
that blue
fucked
agave
up.
plant.
I believe in
I
them.
need mezcal. I need tequila.
We just did
like-
Taco Tuesday. That shit was amazing.
I
It's always
know.
some different shit popping up.
We need Casamigos shots. Like what? I don't need synthetic Casamigos. You see how that went with synthetic weed? It didn't go well.
Oh my God, yo! When I was in the army, motherfuckers was smoking that spice because you couldn't test
Is
for
that
it
what
on the
it's
drug
called?
test.
It's
It was
called
called
spice?
spice.
It
But let me
doesn't
tell you
even
what they would
sound
tell me.
good. It
They were
doesn't
like, you
sound
know what?
healthy.
It's not the same as weed. My heart is fluttering.
See? So now we're gonna have some fake tequila. We're gonna have Coquila.
No.
And we're gonna be sick and stomachs hurting and bowels can't move. And
Tequila.
Because we got tequila.
This ain't tequila.
Or something like that. I'm like, I don't got
This is
time.
tequila. This is
So
what
all I
that
need y'all to
called.
do is just recycle.
Remember
Can
when-
y'all just please put the stuff in the blue canister? We know where it goes. Put the stuff in the blue, put the stuff in the green so I can have tequila.
First of all,
because
friend-
I don't need Mexico over here.
And you know what? Kimmy really does recycle, so she's
I do.
She's
That's what I'm
speaking her
like.
truth.
Jesus, I need to go to Cabo. I need to be able to go to Cabo
and we
hang
said we
out.
was gonna stop buying Fashion Nova to fill the fucking landfills.
I-
Didn't we
I
say
have,
that?
and I have.
And we have. So we
No more fast
Our
fashion.
carbon footprint.
I'm only buying designer stuff. Now I'm only on like
Now she only
Balenciagas
buying
and-
designer
Now I'm
shit.
on Chloe and Chanel because I can
Now
only buy
she
nice
an elite.
stuff.
Now she an elitist. No, but you're right. I told you we talked about this on one of our other podcasts. Motherfuckers who litter all the time. Ghetto. Fuck.
It's so simple. Just like
pick
take
that
2
shit
more
up.
feet in compost. Take 2 more
And
feet in
I
drop
grew
it-
up
it's
on
like, it's really easy.
Yep. And I grew up on military installations, so you really couldn't do that shit. You were really getting a whole lot of trouble.
First they came after mimosas because the oranges were like something was happening with oranges. Now they're coming after tequila. They just really don't want me to be happy.
And
out
they don't
here.
even have
And I'm
polar
just-
bears. They have growler bears. What the fuck?
I just need y'all to recycle.
Yeah, that's
It's
real
just
shit.
so ghetto.
Well, anyways, we need to talk about how it is out here in these streets. Come on. So Kimmy has to tell y'all because this is a 3-part story.
it is a 3-part story.
Kimmy has been in this come on, it's complicated.
It is complicated. It's like
complicated.
this whirlwind of confusion.
Yeah.
And I just have really realized that I just don't understand men.
No,
I've
she
just gotten to
doesn't.
the fact that maybe I just I don't understand.
No, but you know what? Okay,
the thing.
okay. This is a Streets is Calling story told about Kimmy, told by Cookie. So we went to the Masego concert,
We did.
and okay, so I see Kimmy over there dancing and everything, and her booty was bootying and whatever, and she was looking good.
booty
Boom.
was bootying.
I saw this young. This young male, African American male, with medium length dreadlocks, and he ran up on Kimmy, and I was like, I told my other friend, I said, does she fucking know him? Because he just was
short.
all in your face.
He was small. he was short.
He was all in your face, and so
The heart wants what the heart wants.
and so I saw him talking to you a lot, and then I asked you, I said, Kimmy, what did he say? Kimmy, what did he say?
He said, first of all, he talked about how maybe we had possibly matched a long time ago. And he asked did I remember him. And I didn't. But I am also a pleasant person. So this is why dating apps didn't work for me. Because I'm a pleasant person. So someone will say, oh, you look nice. And I will have no interest in them. And I will say thank you and then not respond. But I thought it was nice to say thank you because they said a compliment. So I should respond. Because I think it's maybe mean not to respond back when somebody compliments
But
you.
let me tell you, Jordan Peterson said that the women's problem, if they want to be like men, which you don't want to be, but we're really, really agreeable.
I know.
And I think that, like, that could be our problem too. You're too agreeable.
Well, I did say thank you, but you're not my type.
Uh-huh.
But I said thank you. That was nice, but you're also possibly not my type.
Yeah, possibly. But he believed he still had a chance with you.
I thought not because so then okay, I don't know how because then he addressed how I said he wasn't my type. Like, yes, I know I'm short. Yes, I know I might
He
not
said,
be the
"All
guy
the
you
shit
want.
you
He
don't
did.
like."
He's like, I know I'm short. I know you would like a guy who at least are taller than you, but at least give me a chance. And I felt like that was really nice. And so I did tell him that he can follow me on Instagram, and he was like, he already did.
He's like, I know what that means.
And he's like, I know what that
Follow
means.
me on Instagram means I don't want to give you my number.
Right. Well, I do think you should sparingly give out your number. Everybody shouldn't have
Yeah,
contact
'cause
with
it
you.
means,
You
like,
cannot reach me.
You
I
can
don't need you to be able
DM
to
me,
reach
but I like ignoring a DM as opposed
my
to
Instagram is cut off.
Yeah.
But I don't need you to have my number. That's like real excess.
But here's my deal. I don't think I'm not on any dating sites, but I do feel like you should not. If you see me in person, it is not a good idea to bring up how you matched with me and we haven't talked yet.
Right, because clearly
that shit is so fucking
First of all,
weird.
I deleted 2 years ago.
And
I don't
if
even know I still have
and
that.
motherfucker, if I didn't talk to you online, I mean,
But I think he was really trying to be nice, though. That's why I was like not that mean to him when he was talking.
yo, I got
I'm
all,
too nice.
all
I
the
know
pictures
it.
I have from that night. You can see him in the background eyeing that ass. He was burning a hole in that ass. I was like, what the fuck? Him and his homeboy. He was really, really interested.
Yeah.
And Kimmy just broke his little heart.
I didn't break his heart. It's okay that you're not someone's type. It's okay to shut someone down as long as you do it nice.
I guess. Sometimes it's not even nice as far as they're concerned.
I
But
know.
you
I mean,
can't- you
I
can't
left him
make
not feeling
everybody-
bad about it. I said, I was like, you're a great guy for someone. I just want a taller person.
You're a great guy for someone.
I was like, but you got my Instagram. We can definitely be friends on there.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think you just feel safer with a taller man?
Well, I just think that like someone who can like grab me is like sexy, you know, like and like, but not like grab me from like under my arms, right? Because like that's how I pick up my puppy because he's short. I like pick him up under his arms, like, you know, like so. I don't want to grab anybody like that, right? I want them to grab me.
You
want to
feel like
right
a
there,
little.
like,
Aw.
I want to feel like swooped up in it, not like I gotta like
And see, I
help
always
you
feel that
up.
way. Yeah, because I'm a little person.
Yeah, because you're
I
a
get
little
it.
person.
And so you want to feel like oh, I'm. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
or
totally
at least
makes
eye
sense.
level, you know. Like
What if he's a strong little man?
no, because then I feel like a barbell. That's
Shut
not fun. I don't want to be bench pressed. It's different.
No.
Like,
I get it. No, I do think it's important to feel safe.
well, because in that same concert, even though now that I know key rules or mosh pit rules, I know that I broke all of the
Oh my
pit
God.
rules.
See, we ain't even broke that down to them
right.
yet.
So I broke the pit rules, but I broke the pit rules with this guy. But even still, I felt like that I could necessarily get an attitude with him because I was looking at the top of his head and I was looking over him to look at the
So
concert.
you felt like you had, because you're bigger than him.
Yeah, I felt bigger than him, and like not
But he
stronger
is
than
a
him.
man, though.
He's a man. So that in no way do I think that I'm stronger than him. I actually 100% understand men and women's different capabilities, but I did feel
A little bit more powerful?
taller. And even in that small element, I felt like bigger because I felt taller. Like so, I didn't feel stronger, but I did feel a little bit higher than him because I
Ooh,
was.
Do you think that based on what we've learned now about the pit, that
Yeah.
you feel that way because they've allowed you to feel that way?
Well, now that I know the pit, I know I should have been nice and said, excuse me, I'm only going to be here for a second. I just need to grab a quick picture of Masego. This is my
Because
favorite
I really
song.
love him.
This is right. So I should have humbled myself.
I brought my
But I
friends
think
here.
me not humbling myself and being so much bigger than him probably made it worse.
So now when you rethink about the conversation, do you think he was coming at you like nice, like, hey, you just kind of, so do you think it was a,
No, I think you should
Okay.
have shut the fuck up talking to me. But
so you still,
but I do think that I didn't come in it with respect, so I commanded that energy
that
from him.
makes sense. See, ooh, accountability.
Yeah, I didn't
God
come in.
damn.
I didn't humble myself to come into the space.
Come on and humble yourself. What
Yeah.
did Kendrick say?
So I brought that energy from him, but he
Be
was not
humble.
being nice.
Sit down. Oh
Right.
my God.
He was not being nice though. He was in no way being nice
I
or
will-
respectful. He was just matching
No.
energy he thought I came with.
He did. And you
Yeah.
matched him because you said, why are you talking to me?
I did match it. I came with
matched
it. I was
it.
very confused. My favorite song was on. My favorite song was
Not the
on, so
fact-
I could not.
Not the fat one.
I cannot.
So no, but you know what? I think that it's good when we look at ourselves in the situation
Yeah.
and we can see.
Well, we got a
that-
great friend who now has taught me mosh pit rules. So now I know that
It wasn't
next
a
time I'm-
mosh pit though. They weren't
similar,
moshing,
though, but
there was like
it's
a
a pit.
Yeah, pit. Yeah.
So
We were all
concert pit.
standing there, yeah.
Concert pit rules. So now that I know,
and
now I
we
know
took
pit
our
rules,
position.
Yeah.
And I do feel like
in the back.
Yeah, we did because we came super late too.
We did.
We came super late, and you're in the back.
Dang. Oh,
we
yeah.
came super
Oh,
late.
I was not respectful at all.
And then we pushed our way up there.
We did.
And those people have been in place the whole time.
We did.
Now we're looking at it. But
Next
you
time
know
I go
what?
to Rock On,
As
I
long
know.
as you learn from,
I did.
we learned from it. We
I
get
did.
it.
But that also let me know that I needed. I can't be with a smaller man because I
But-
did feel like I can like just
But a
sit
small,
my head on his.
but the man would have,
chin.
if you had a man, period, you would have known the rules. I think men know the rules.
Yeah.
You don't think
no.
so? You think they don't be knowing either?
Okay. So.
But don't they get dealt with quickly if they don't know the rule?
they get punched in the face.
I would imagine that people who don't know the rules end up learning them the
Me.
hard way.
Me.
No,
I'm
you
actually
didn't learn the
example of
hard
that.
way. That wasn't too hard now. All y'all had was a little nasty exchange.
That was hard for me. I feel sad. You saw my whole energy
But it
change.
could have went bad because I've seen men and women get into physical altercations.
It wouldn't have went there.
You're
'cause
not
I wouldn't
that
have been
type of person.
Yeah, I wouldn't have took it
But
there.
there are some women, I think, who
But
are.
it went bad for me. I was sad. I was sad during my favorite song.
And our friend noticed it. She was like, "Girl, don't worry about it.
I
Shake
was
it off."
sad. I was like, I
She
didn't
was
even
like,
do anything.
"Why was he doing that?" No, I know.
Right, I
It
was
leaves
just
a
like-
bad taste in your mouth.
Because I was very sad.
I know. I get it.
If I was to cry, I would have
Well,
cried.
anyways, Masego did amazing. He was
did. I'm
wonderful
so just
live. There were so
great.
many, and it was and overall. Besides that situation, everybody was
Amazing concert. Great
everybody was like
energy.
really like
was
mindful
a
of people.
vibe.
That's Colorado concerts though.
It is.
Colorado concerts. But anyways, we got to get out of here.
We do.
And I love you. We don't always agree.
I feel you.
But it don't matter. It's all good.